this is actually incredibly satisfying to watch. I must admit, this is really satisfying to watch. I do like this a lot. What's up, agents? Zer here, welcome back to the lab. Today we're actually taking a little bit of a field trip because honestly what I want to go ahead and show you guys today, well, it's a little bit too cramped inside the lab to properly and easily showcase this off. So yeah, we're in a normally generated world, but regardless, we're here because we're going to be showing you how to go ahead and use the brand new RandomTickSpeed GameRule that was implemented into the game as of 1.8. And I want to say for the record, you are not required to have experimental gameplay turned on in order to use this. I know for a fact that I've been doing quite a few experimental gameplay videos here on the lab, and I feel like at this particular point in time I need to point out when I'm using it and when I'm not. Some of you might disagree, but that's besides the point. So anyway, the RandomTickSpeed GameRule. Well, what exactly does it do? Well, we actually did technically have this in the game before, but we just didn't have it as an actual command or even a game rule in particular because, well, tick speed, obviously a default part of Minecraft, but now we have the option to go ahead and change it around with this brand new game rule. So exactly what does it look like? Well, first off, unlike some other game rules that we have in the game, this is not a true-false scenario. This is not something we can directly turn on and off. Although, admittedly, I did do some testing. I can legitimately turn it off, which I actually have it turned off right now. I'll show you guys in a little bit how I did that. But yeah, this actually instead uses a numeric value, which is actually kind of interesting. But once we actually get into how it actually works, it's going to make a lot of sense. So first off, let's go into this command block right here. So this is GameRule RandomTickSpeed 1. And I want to say for the record, when you start off a brand new world, this is actually the game rule that you get by default. And this is actually technically the tick speed that we've had since before we had access to this actual game rule. So yeah, that is basically what you normally see whenever you are in a survival world, and obviously creative world as well prior to this command. And let me go ahead and show you guys, not only can you type in the command obviously into the command line as well as command blocks, but if you go into your settings menu, and you can actually go ahead and do this both in your world provided you have commands turned on, and outside the world. You can see right here you have a button and line to go ahead and change your random tick speed, and this is actually technically how I ended up turning it off. I actually have it set to 0, and as I said, default random tick speed is 1, and this will actually technically set it to 1. So that is it. So yeah, I have this piece of grass right here in the middle of all this dirt, and obviously because I have random tick speed set to 0, well, it's not going to do absolutely anything whatsoever. And as you can tell, I've got this stone around it to make sure it doesn't spread inward. So inside this particular command block, I actually have this set to a random tick speed of 1,000. Now, I don't exactly remember the 100% accurate highest random tick speed you can set, but I think I can pretty closely guess technically what it is. I think it's like 4,096, something like that. I know it's above 4,000. I know that for a fact. And if I am actually incorrect, there will be text on screen during editing where I will correct myself, so you guys know what the actual maximum random tick speed actually is. Obviously 1,000 nothing in comparison to the actual maximum, I know that for a fact, but it is still incredibly fast because I didn't really feel it necessary to set it to max. So anyway, let's go ahead and press this, and oh my, as you can obviously tell, the grass is already spinning, and this is actually incredibly satisfying to watch. I must admit, this is really satisfying to watch. I do like this a lot. So yeah, obviously the grass is almost completely done spraying. Yeah, so that is actually what 1,000 random tick speed looks like. Obviously, you guys know what 1 tick speed, it looks like, because that's, as I said, that's what's been in the game for absolutely forever before we have the random tick speed. So I actually have a few more examples of things that we can go ahead and test random tick speed 1000. I want to say for the record, I do not have absolutely everything that this will work with. I have tested quite a few things, and this is not absolutely everything, but I figure at least get a small assortment going to get you guys at least an idea of what's going on. So I've got myself regular seeds, wheat seeds, obviously, pumpkin seeds, sugar cane, netherwort, which is is really notorious for being incredibly slow to grow, and unfortunately does not work with bone meal, which makes things a little bit slower. Bamboo, which according to what I've heard online is supposed to grow incredibly fast with a normal random tick speed of 1. I did some testing. I don't know if it's potentially broken or if I'm just being impatient, but that's not the case for me. And anyway, I've also got myself a sapling, technically oak, but I imagine I'll do the exact same thing with pretty much any other type of tree sapling. So let's go ahead and first plant down these seeds, and this should take, yeah, this is taking absolutely, that was almost instantaneous. That was incredibly fast, and keep in mind I did not use any bone meal whatsoever. None at all. Alright, so let's go ahead and plant these pumpkin seeds, and the actual growth of the pumpkin and obviously melon itself is also pretty notorious for taking a long time to grow, and I did some testing with this particular one as well. And once this stalk grows, the actual pumpkin and obviously the melon will do the same thing, grows incredibly fast, and I can break it and another pumpkin will grow pretty fast afterwards. So yeah, I think the stalk is fully grown at this point, I think. So I imagine the pumpkin should grow relatively soon, I would like to think. I did test this early. Yeah, there we go. So as I said before, I can go ahead and break this, and the pumpkin should grow back relatively quickly, because that is what I found out earlier. Yeah, there we go. That worked. Alright, so as I said before, netherwort, again, incredibly difficult to grow because it takes an incredibly long time, and as I said earlier, does not work with bone meal, which makes it a lot harder to grow. But obviously you would probably expect that with 1000 tick speed, this is actually going to take a lot less time to go ahead and grow the actual netherwort itself, and it still takes a decent amount of time for it to grow, but at least I can confirm that the actual growth cycle of the netherwort itself is a lot shorter. So we actually got pretty lucky. When I was testing this earlier, it took quite a bit longer than that, but at least it had fairly similar results, I will say that much. So let's go ahead and do the actual bamboo. Now, like I said earlier, with a default tick speed of 1, it is said this actually grows incredibly fast, and I won't deny that, but this actually grows super fast with the actual random tick speed set to 1000. I don't want to even begin to imagine what it would be like on the maximum random tick speed. I have a feeling I know what would end up happening immediately. Okay, so I forgot about the sugarcane. I skipped from the pumpkin seeds straight to netherwort. I forgot about it, so let's go ahead and do it now. So let's place the sugarcane there, and this did take at least a less time than the netherwort earlier, but it still did take a decent amount of time. But as you can tell, obviously, it's growing pretty quickly, all things considered. I will say that much. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so last but not least, let's go ahead and put down our sapling. And again, for the record, you guys are obviously seeing this. I am not using any bone meal whatsoever. This is literally, again, just the tick speed. So this should in theory grow, yeah, almost incredibly quickly. That is absolutely incredible. So one thing I did want to go ahead and test, and this is actually something I technically have not tested so far, and yeah, I should have figured that the vines would attempt to go ahead and continue this route. I hope I got all of them. Looks like I did. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do, break down the tree. And I've seen mods on Java Edition where you break down a tree, and the tree basically decays incredibly fast and gives you absolutely everything incredibly fast. And I want to see how close that technically is. So let's go ahead and break down all the wood. Oh my gosh. Okay, almost instantaneous saplings and apples. That is pretty useful, thing considered. But yeah, that is literally... Actually, let me go ahead and set this back to RandomTickSpeed of 1 to the default, just in case. I don't know if that's actually going to grow any further. I actually really don't know. But yeah. So yeah, that is the RandomTickSpeed GameRule for you and how actually it works. Incredibly simple to use, and it does some pretty cool stuff. And again, I'm a little bit afraid of how fast some things would actually legitimately end up growing on the max. As I said, I imagine probably instantaneous, but yeah, still. But anyway, this is actually where I'm going to go ahead and end things off. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more, to make sure that subscribe for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCP0 to stay updated. This has been Zer0's. Thank you guys for watching, and with that, I'll see you guys later.